right, hi everyone. It's time. Hey, we're back with Of the Devil. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. I got nothing done because I kept going back to work. So actually, no, it's not. I didn't get anything done. I made money, but yeah, it feels like I got nothing done. But yeah, I hope everyone else had productive, fun, cool weekends. Karu, what? Also, yeah, hi, Lady, Gally, Karu, Chaotic, welcome in. Karu, really? Oh my god, that's so exciting. Can you say which fan again it is? Oh my god, I'm so proud of you. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. It's like, let's see. We'll definitely. Oh my god. So we're gonna watch it on stream or play it on stream and be like, oh, it's Karu, everyone. Don't die. Does everyone know it's being revealed in the Fangans for Hope event? This is the next one. Really? Okay. Awesome. I will be on the lookout for it. The Fangans for Hope event. I feel like I did see that. Or were you telling me about that earlier? That's exciting. Also, pretty randomly, I guess whoever's on the Discord probably saw that. I got a cookie run box. That is a ghost pupper. I'm glad you noticed. I wasn't able to add any London artists to it, so I'm like, okay, I can add a graveyard real fast though. Yeah. So I'm not exactly going to be a TCG card opening streamer, but I'm just going to open one on stream right now as I talk to y'all because this is pretty. I like. Let's see. So sorry for anyone who does not care about Cookie Run. I just want to open one pack before we get started. And I'm probably going to do it on every stream now because I have a billion packs. I'm not going to open them all. Alright. I'm not even going to see what I'm getting. I'm just going to put them up this way and see if I got anything good. Aww. Wait. Oh, hell yeah! Super rare cream unicorn cookie. Nice, it's shiny. You know, basically, cute cookies. And they're adorable, and the cards are shiny, and there's genocides. Don't worry about it. I haven't played the mobile game in a long time, and I can't, because gachas are really expensive, and I'm like, I can't do that. So I bought the card game instead, and it's actually really fun. What? Don't worry. Alright, let's give you guys some monodams, and let's get started on 2 of our interviews, because we got the adjutant. I'm excited. I'm so excited. You gonna be lurking? Yeah, lurk away. Well, here it's like it's like totally cool if everyone's just chilling, just like, you know, listening in. Because I have so much art to do, honestly. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be like, all right, let me do art while listening in. You're drawing. You see if it's drawing. State your business with the court. Oh, I was actually hoping to speak with AD 84. You're doodling? Hell yeah. Is she not available? Oh, what are you talking about? I'm right here. I was just using my professional voice because I assumed you were a technician. Oh. No one else visits me in between trials. We're back in the fucking courtroom again. Heck yeah. Are you sure you aren't a technician? I am not. I came here to ask you some questions. I came here to ask you some questions, is what you're about to say, isn't it? Huh? Crap, it was lag. It would have been really cool if I hadn't lagged just now. Trust me. I can see how that would have been cool. So, may I proceed? Go for broke! You're the only adjutant I've ever met, but Ad and I seemed consistently surprised by you. Anytime she's so girly pop, heck yeah. Why are you like that? Wish I could say I was built different, but I actually have to share my time in this body with the rest of the adjutants in the building. I guess you could say I was programmed different. But this is more of a case of nurture than nature. I've got 9 personas arguing inside me 24/7, and they're also very political. Even just deciding what color to put on in the morning is like herding cats in the presidential debate. What color, Sarah? No. It's a metaphor. I don't wear it. Oh god. Point is, I found the best way to keep all 9 of my ducks in a row is to be a little unconventional and a lot loud with my voice. So long as I do my job well, the humans don't mind. You say that, but Ad and I did seem exasperated at times. Oh, you mean Counselor Morgan? The dirty red tries to pretend she isn't type A prude. No fixing that. Personalities like ours get along like potassium and water. Sarah, no. That is a very violent exothermic chemical reaction. Totally correct. No one should ever try that at home. Oh, jeez. We saw eyes and we got cut out there. Why do I gesture so much? I already told you I have to share this body with the other adjutants. And all of them just sit there looking dignified. It's terrible for the joints. Really? Maybe, I don't know. So, I spend most of my day incorporeal, running numbers inside a server, down in the basement, or up in the cloud. I'm gonna make the most of every minute I have with arms and legs, even if it kills me. I see. And you can quote me on that. Tell them 80 said, if you want me to stop fiddling around up here, you'll have to shoot me dead. You'll have to put cold hard lead in my skull. You'll have to watch the light leave my eyes. I said you'll have to. I wrote it all down. Oh, nice. She looks so different without the visor. Like, she kind of looks a little scary. It's cool, but like, scary. Visor gets stuffy, so what's your deal anyway, little fella? We could exchange all this info with infrared. I prefer talking. And you're the only other automated dependent that I really know right now. She looks like an angel. I see it. No, that is so cute in like a depressing way. Is it common for machines like us to just talk when there are no humans around? Like an angel or Regina George. Ants are always talking to each other. Doesn't matter, there's no one in the woods to hear the tree fall. The conversations are usually a lot more boring than this though. Strictly business, I imagine. No, not necessarily. Ads can do small talk. They're just really bad at it. Biblically accurate. Okay, imagine how scary that would be though. If she took off these visors and it's like 8,000 eyes just like all around. I'm like, oh no, no, no. No thank you. Put it back on. Thank you for your time. I'll hold it. You really think I don't know what you are? I tried to think about it during the trial, try to stay impartial, but talking to you now, it's undeniable. You're a total Pisces. Curious about my 3 sizes. Sarah. How did you know? Years of experience with interacting with humans have taught me that's the most important thing you can ask someone. The only way to truly get to know them. That's what I've been saying. Dude, this is just a weird kid in a thumbnails coat with a billion. Exactly. 109, 64, 94. Etch it in your memory. Wow. Aw, what the heck. I'll even those in for free. I'm 263 centimeters tall. That's so cool. Finally, someone with good taste. Why aren't you the one casting down judgment? I can't believe someone told us. I mean, it makes sense of all the characters who did that, but god damn it. That's so funny. Why are we freaky? Why are they low-key freaky? Alright, let's get Yumi. Okay, sorry. What's up, sweetie? I wanted to interview you. Is this your Android homework? Adonai assigns me a variety of tasks. Yumi. Zima, hey! But I made the independent calculation that I wanted to learn more about you. Oh. Is that strange for an android? It's different. Well, there's nothing wrong with being different. What do you have in mind? Most of my coursework was rooted in biology, yeah, but medicine and technology are intertwined at this point. Are you referring to the software and hardware you use when performing your autopsies? Spreadsheets and bone saws? Yeah, but you can learn that on site. You have to actively study mods. All the anatomy textbooks in the world won't help you understand why a healthy 30-year-old is exhibiting mania and constantly vomiting. Unless you saw the last week's recall on the HAL artificial liver for lithium leaks. Mods can make people sick, even though they're meant to improve the body. Just like the medicine can make people sick. And just like medicine, there's a lot of profit to be made with mods. But unlike medicine, mods haven't been around for thousands of years. Feels like we're still playing catch-up. We, as in medical professionals. We, as in everyone, sweetie. The whole world's population is graying. The numbers on cause of death reflect that. Less cardiovascular, more neurological. What about cancer? Cancer mortalities have been on decline for a while now. Mods helped with that. How so? By making everyone that much more comfortable with amputation. Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah. That's actually... Huh. A lot of things part of this game makes you worried, like, hey, is the future kind of heading this way? Like, I can definitely see that in the future someone's like, oh, well, you know, we'll just chop that off and get a cool prosthetic, cool version of that instead, huh? It used to be people had no choice but to fight the cancer, and it was costly. A salt the earth kind of war that left the body severely weakened. With mods of where they're at today, doctors can cut out the offending organ, replace it, and move on. But not every organ. No, artificial brains are... Nothing I've seen has told me that they're on the menu anytime soon. But aren't mods that are implanted into the brain entering the market as we speak? Yeah, but that's more like they're implanted onto the brain. Small computers that read commands directly from the cortex instead of, say, the keyboard your fingers are typing on. No, to actually replace brain tissue, you would have to. The analogies become pretty common, but the human brain isn't actually that much like a computer. A box of specialized components where you can swap in new parts to increase the memory of the processing speed. Everything's connected to everything. And memory is, as we think, it isn't stored in a place. It's stored among connections and their relative strength. I've cut it open and seen it for myself more times than I can count. There are no cutting off points in the nervous system. Anything you take away, every other part is going to notice. That was a long tangent. Sorry. I can't imagine a lecture on human nervous system is of any interest to an android. Yes, it is. I mean, it isn't. That is to say, what's wrong? I don't want to implicate Yumi in anything illegal by telling her about my unique circumstances. But how can I change the subject? When Adonai wants to shift the conversation, she'll typically find something arbitrary in the background to ask about. I am curious about the many decorations on your desk. Oh, what caught your eye? That magnet over there. Sarah's picking up bad habits from Morgan. Really? You recognize it? It appears to be a flag, but I do not know the country of origin. Oh wait, let me guess. Oh! It's a pride flag. It was a pride flag. It's an early 21st century pride flag. They used to change the designs every few years back then, so... You kind of collect them like coins. I see. What is this flag proud of? Being trans? Or trans visibility, more accurate. Hell yeah! Visibility? What does that mean? We're living in the middle of the mod revolution. Pride is your favorite country. Anyone can look like whatever or whoever they want, as long as they have the cash. You want some pride coins? Compared to swapping out cybernetic arms and slotting in artificial spines, hormone therapy and affirmative surgery is nursing student level. And it's fast too. The paperwork, the treatments, the recovery time. It's also much faster than it used to be. Don't know if it makes the decisions any less heavy. But no one has to cross their fingers and wait anymore. We're seeing rep. After just a few days, they won't even have scars. So, all told, that means for the first time in a long time, this generation has fewer visibly trans people than the last one. Oh. Is it? Huh, okay. And a flag like that one. Dunno. Guess it won't mean the same thing anymore. The fact they said 21st century like it's a historical antique, like we have vinyls, is so cool, right? There was this old like kids book I remember when I was little. It was about like after like humans are gone type situation, aliens came down to like investigate Earth, kind of like how archaeologists investigate like tombs of like ancient Egypt and stuff like that. And they're getting so many things wrong. As a kid, you're like, it's funny, but also it was like, huh, that probably is kind of how it is with, I don't know, us looking back then. Because like in the book, like the aliens, they see like a bath stopper in the bathtub. And so when alien takes it out, it goes, oh no, this person almost lost their necklace in what they would normally bathe in. And like other things like that. And I don't know, it's so weird thinking about like just being history. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. It just reminded me of that. So, is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know that's good or bad, sweetie. Just different. And there's nothing wrong with being different, right? Aww, no, there's not. Playmat complete. Wait, okay, those two were great. Like, I can't wait for this one, but those two were great. I like those. Alright, let's go back. I was here, I guess? Oh my god, why do I need to save better. Let me see which one. That's why she's the goat. Hell yeah. game. I'm gonna give you guys some items while the game's thinking. There it goes. Wait, episode 1. Wait. Okay, so the last thing I did, I was talking to London. Okay, so it's this one. It's this one. There we go. Magic! Hey! Doing pretty good. I got a shiny card in my pack of Cookie Run TCG. And I'm starting this. So, fun times. Ikaria, Blue Blood, Megs, Orcas. Dirty cops and criminal informants. Lines drawn back and forth across the battlefield like a spider suspension bridge. Dizzying in its complexity, frail along any given strand. But one wrong move and you're completely ensnared. Priorities. The Ikaria don't care about who tore through Creek's gang, but they would prefer Sosuke doesn't spend life in prison for killing a cop. The Blue Bloods want to tear Sosuke's throat out, but if Han's taken at her word, they're settling for 5 counts of murder. Can I take Han at her word? Is she a young blood like Creek, or is she with Old Guard? The lore of this game? Of the novel? Think cyberpunk, crime noir, Yuri, Ace Attorney. But we're a serial killer. And a defense attorney. Could I have asked London that if I had? Could I have trusted his answer? Because it turns out Quasum London is much, much harder to read than I anticipated. And I can't even trust my client to act in his own self-interest. The man's a bodyguard by trade and a zealot for his house. Oh, okay. I know, right? It's like, it's super cool. It's a lot, but super cool. The trial starts tomorrow. Do I still need more information? Is there time to find it out? No. What I need right now is a nightcap. If I can't fall asleep, then I'll know I'm in trouble. Until then, guess sleep will have to... What do you mean someone's knocking on our door? What do you mean someone's knocking on our door? It's unlocked. Oh, hello? Pardon me for dropping in at such a late hour, Counselor Morgan. Standing there in my doorway, she cut through the light like a blade of spilt ink. But twice as sharp and not nearly as familiar. Did she have legs for days? Is it outside of normal consultation hours, miss? She purses her lips. Like lily petals shying away from the moonlight. What's a smirk by any other name? Please, call me Miere. Any last name, Miere? The question floats in the air like a curling cigarette smoke. I could tell she was used to the smell. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Self-assured and unapologetic, the unspoken family name loud as a signature. Written in blood. You're from House Ikaria. Might I step inside? She blinks, her head turns a millimeter. A forked tongue testing the temperature of the air. She wasn't asking for permission. Just you? What about your friends in the hallway? She raises an eyebrow but keeps staring at the floor. She's surprised by my perception of the unseen threat, but not quite impressed. I don't think they need to join us, do you? She was the kind of woman to make you remember. Smoking could kill. Oh, dang. Dang. Oh, no. Oh, no. But again, If possibly murder, why pretty? Why so pretty, right? And oh, I don't have my yellow glasses. But yeah, I do. Well, switching over. Gotta match her after all. How can I be of service, Mirai? You're already being quite accommodating both to me and my family's interests. I came here tonight to be of service to you. I understand that you're somewhat new to this underworld of ours. Did we get her profile already? We did! Birthday's October 1st, the day after mine. They're doing a great job of not having all the characters be jingling keys for lesbians and the other shows. Blood type A positive. She's a representative. She's like sipping alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and arachnids. Dislikes sunrises, black tea, and photographers. Favorite smell is doja floors. The best at making use of people, the worst at hiding my distaste. A+. She got A+ blood. And a day before yours. I'm grateful for the offer, Mirai. But inexperienced as I am, I've gathered that House Ikaria didn't come into his fortune by being generous. Instant girly probably ball. Would you like to know how House Ikaria did come into its fortune? I know you operate a lending corporation with a significantly diverse portfolio. Ah yes, the good old IFG. The public face of the Ikaria criminal empire, clean-shaven as it's become. And I know you founded a pharmaceutical company and profited immensely when it went public. And before that, I know your family became nobility during the years of civil unrest. No doubt by being well positioned when the time came to re-privatize our nation's industries. Yes. And before that, I know you slaughtered the Blue Bloods 30 years ago. Very good, Counselor Morgan. You've acclimated to our waters remarkably fast. What I don't know is why Makoto Ikaria has been the target of multiple kidnapping attempts over the past year. You can't fathom a guess as to why the Blue Bloods might want to ransom the family's heir? That's the only guess I can make. It strikes me as shallow. Nothing more dangerous than waters you don't know the depths of. As you said, 30 years ago the Ikaria cartel, an unrecognizable band of fruits and drug smugglers compared to today, massacred the respectable Blue Bloods and left their geriatric leadership to die on the vine. Oh, I really, really like this sprite here. But we thrust a knife much deeper than that. You went after their heirs and their entire future. Are you familiar with genetic factor authentication? Using DNA as a password. Blood, specifically, easier than memorizing a string of 3 billion characters long. But GFA's fallen out of favor, hasn't it? The Blue Bloods made ample use of it back then. A bad bet. They already had all their offshore accounts, business titles, property deeds. The Blue Bloods thought they had already won, that they were establishing a dynasty. So as they made their political marriages, they bound their alliances and fortunes in literal blood. GFA was both a financial and symbolic laundering of the Blue Bloods' past. Their children, now married, clean-cut and perfectly respectable. You're tired? Alright, yeah, of course. Good night, Kelly. Bye. Would prosper alongside wealth, no longer tainted by ill-gotten gains. So that GFA registry became the Ikaria's checklist. We went through and crossed out anyone that could have accessed those funds. Oh, that's terrifying. Now, all of it sits untouchable overseas in encrypted digital warehouses. is some of the oldest, most austere banks in the world, collecting interest that will never be claimed. So are we saying Makoto possibly has blue blood in him? Like somewhere, like in his genetics, I guess? Or are they just targeting Makoto because they want to do the same to them? Does that answer your question as to why they target Makoto? No, and you know it doesn't. Because if they thought they could lock you out of your coffers by killing Makoto, they wouldn't be trying to take him alive. You're paying attention. I like that. We don't use GFA, and Makoto is the heir to the House Ikaria, to the Ikaria Financial Group. He'd never be tied to our legitimate banking information. Why not? What if he wants to buy a lollipop? A lollipop would be provided for him. The family's black market proceeds and its white market holdings must never mix. You divide your house right down the middle. Pardon the expression, but how can you stand atop the backs of many? And you all take this division that seriously. Deadly serious. That is our family's rule dating back centuries. Either you serve the house or you serve its interests, never both. So, you're assigned to either the criminal organization which registered as the IFG, or managing the family's legitimate businesses holdings like Renogen. But that means you are nearly as much of an outsider to the Ikaria Financial Group as you are. Nearly is doing a lot of the work there. Who do you answer to then? Who controls the Ikaria's legitimate empire? Until Makoto marries his mother. And I take it Makoto isn't solely responsible for the house's affairs at his age. Makoto wields great authority as the heir, but yes, the house is led by his father Raphael, and more directly by his grandfather, our patriarch Daisuke Ikaria. Oh, old guy. I see. But that puts me back to where I started. The Blue Bloods want to hold Makoto hostage to gain leverage on the likes of Daisuke? How can I put this? Had things gone even slightly different 30 years ago, the Blue Bloods would be the ones shaking hands with politicians, marrying ambassadors, and sitting in boardrooms. Some of them believe it can still be so if the right match were made. They want to marry into House Ikaria. But Makoto... all the real Blue Bloods are older than... Looks like a respectable man. They'd find an age-appropriate adoption. You're missing the point. They need Makoto alive and well to negotiate that kind of reversal of fortune. So they've been trying to capture him for the past year. But every Blue Blood I met today seemed to care a lot more about getting revenge for their dead men than kidnapping a preteen. How many of them do you think Sosuke's cut down in the last year he spent repelling their attempts? Is that a source of internal conflict? If the old guard are throwing young bloods into an Ikaria shredder en masse, trying to capture Makoto just to elevate themselves, I suppose that all might total up enough motivation to make them torture Sosuke, yeah. I had heard Sosuke was wounded. No one informed me he had been tortured. You know him, I take it? As you've gathered, Sosuke deals in matters unrelated to my side of the family. But he is still family. Speaking of my side, I have a duty as representative of my wing on the house to stress that we do not want this trial to be prolonged. You will have a 5-minute time limit, Morgan. So that being cowards don't tear for extra attention. Makes sense. Do you care about the outcome? A win is always preferable, but not a necessity. Makoto Ikaria hired me to prove Sosuke's innocence. If he's the one signing the checks, did he say why he hired you? He hired you for 2 reasons. Reason 1. His options are limited. More limited than he suggested, no doubt, to keep a strong front. The entire house is currently being audited by the state. Our usual legion of lawyers and accountants are already billing hours as fast as they can, so he wouldn't have his pick of the litter. So one half of the family can't talk business at the dinner table with the other half, but you share a pool of lawyers? Lawyers can be trusted to be discreet, can they not? Yeah, we can read between the lines. So then you'll understand reason 2. Whatever lawyer he did find through the Ikaria's usual connections would, like me, do whatever's best for the house as a whole, and not what's best for Sosuke. I'll make an amendment, 3 reasons. Makoto knew that if he didn't assign him any lawyer, Sosuke would just stay silent as the state dragged him off to be chained, rather than inconvenience the house any further. Well, yeah. I've known Sosuke for less than a day, and even I can tell he's never seen a cross he wouldn't jump at the opportunity to bear. That explains why Makoto would hire someone without connections to the Ikaria. You slow rolling another addendum that'll clear up on why on earth my name came across his desk? Knitted with crayons and times tables, I'm sure it was. I hope I've been able to elucidate matters for you, Counselor Morgan. Cool. Masterfully subtle way to say we're done talking. Now, I might ask you a small favor in return. Pass this message to Sosuke. If you see a way out, take it. Do you understand what you're asking him to do? Even if Sosuke took a plea bargain, even if I somehow got the other charges reduced to manslaughter, self-defense, the state thinks he killed a cop. The message is for Sosuke, not you. Your interpretation of it is irrelevant. Oh, okay, end of conversation. As she reaches the exit, she turns back to look at me, lingering in the doorway like a warm buzz of strong, dark cocktail. But your assessment is correct. If this were just 4 dead blue bloods, our dim little underworld could balance out the ledger unassisted. If that cop hadn't shown up last night. Do you know something about the late Officer Chopin? Sitting in mourning after death of city's councilman, beloved adoptive son. All I know is that his funeral dirge will be like those 4 boys' deaths, sound like a disinterested sigh. By the way, I must admit you have a lovely apartment, Counselor. Huh. Changing subjects as subtly as a bullet train hopping its tracks. Quite spacious for a defense attorney. Yeah. Place went sell after the tram route got diverted. I negotiated down the rent and then installed all the soundproofing myself. Can't open the windows without being treated to the sounds of the city then. Did the stream skip? I don't have any drop frames and says it's good. It was multiple people? It skipped? Huh. I am not sure why that happened. Is it? Yeah, just let me know if it does it again. There's always a cost. That's one mystery solved then, isn't it? Enjoy the rest of your quiet evening, Counselor. It's all good now? Okay. Phew. I was like, oh no. The door glides to a close behind her, easy as a question left unasked. I'm left here hanging on a single held breath of stillness. Listening as the deafened thud of her honor's guard implied violence stomps down the hallway behind her. All good? Okay, cool. I was still leaned back in my chair, staring holes into my ceiling, long after the scent of her expensive tobacco had faded into null. Savoring it while it lasted was beyond me at the moment. My attention's elsewhere. This case is knotted and twisted like a gnarled oak. Just when I think I found my rhythm, my blade runs dull. Carving is an exercise in patience and vision. You need to start with a clear picture of what you want. I want some answers. But for now, I'll sleep. Tomorrow in court, I'll just have to keep whittling away at the wood until I fashion something halfway usable. And well, if that doesn't work, I'll use a chainsaw. I like how this one episode was like extremely crime noir style. It's very cool. Hey, cool kid. Yes, you. Trying to look all stoic staring out the window. Little late to try and look detached after that thing you pulled the other day. So that wasn't a joke? Making an announcement from the whole class? You try to start a detective club or something? What mysteries? Disappearing cleaning supplies? Books not getting returned to the library? Sounds lame. Well, not like that's your fault. Everything's lame. Good luck finding members. Everyone around here already knows what they're going to do after school. And tomorrow and next year. They're all staring down the barrel of a lucrative career and telling other companies how to provide web services or whatever the hell this school's supposed to train us for. A lawyer? If you say so, kid. The Mex will probably have robots doing that by the time you graduate, but sure. Law school's supposed to be hard to get into. You'll need a record that doesn't suck. Getting the club you started shut down because you couldn't get anyone to join probably won't help. Wow, so confident. You really are a cool kid. And then we became a lawyer. Heck yeah. Frame's good, frame's good. Oh, it's about a rail. Yo, hey. Alright. Ruth, get ready for a trial. Floor 48. Morgan, please, this is... Hold still and relax. This will be over soon. I thought you were joking about the makeup. Of course I wasn't joking. A face like yours is invaluable in the courtroom. And you think covering me in concealer and blush and applying eyeliner will help me appeal to what demographic exactly? This demographic, Sosuke. Oh my god. Let's see. You know the names of all this stuff? Oh, it looks the same. I'm a modern man. I know the names of many things, including makeup. Is that your eyebrow gel? Yeah? Morgan versus Morgan. It's cakey. Do you want to do the rest? I think some of the jury might find that his moons make him look rugged. And furthermore, Sarah! From an aesthetic perspective, leaving some of his buttons undone will... Excuse me? You're clearly a very devoted martial artist, Sosuke. You should be proud to display your well-defined collarbones as the fruit of your efforts. Sarah. He's gonna call HR on you. Just hold still. Appearances matter in the courtroom. 95% of defendants who are ever seen in prison garb on trial are found guilty. I don't doubt your tactics will work, Morgan. My tactics include getting your suit pressed. Do you want me to wrinkle it back up? I just find them unpalatable. Trying to get the civilians to pity me is shameful. You're worried about honor? Really? You're already a cybernetic ninja, Sosuke. Don't be a stereotype. Don't call other people stereotypes. He's right, Adonai. And he's more of a cybernetic samurai, since he's sworn himself to a wealthy landowning noble. I'm confused, Sosuke. Is it honorable how your family made their money? I'm not talking about morality. I'm talking about having principles. Yes, they're subjective, and yes, they can be hypocritical. But the further you stray from the common path, the more you need them. I mean, what about her? What would Sarah be like if she didn't have tenets that guide her programming? Ugh, I can only imagine. But some people, believe it or not, enjoy their freedoms. Adrift in the middle of the ocean, you're free to go in whichever direction you want. But without a compass, you'll just die of experience. Let's see. Is that... Can you guys hear me? Can you... Oh. Nope. Looks like that stopped. Ba 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 ba. Okay, it's back. Okay, hold on. Let's... Okay, so it's connected. Let me... Okay. Everything good? We hear me? We hear me? We see everything? Let's see. Stream house. We're live. Says it's good. Okay, cool. Everything's back to normal. It did, like... Let's give y'all some model. Thank you for staring past that. And let's get back. We're so back. Alright. It was a nice try, Sarah. And forget it. Do whatever you want with your brushes, woman. And you're pouting again. Great. Sarah, just keep him talking. So, what? If I'm talking, how will you? Trust me. I've done more delicate work before. Sarah, small talk. Gladly, Adonai. I'm a little worried about Sarah's small talk with them. Sosuke, do you happen to have any tattoos? Are the jury gonna ask about that or something? They might. Oh. Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do have a tattoo. A Koma-inu on my back. Koma-inu, a guardian dog. Oh, Koma-inu. Koma-inu, a guardian dog. You have a tattoo of a dog? You got 2 starters and a single Norwegian god? It's a fierce guardian deity. Like a Labrador? Like a great fierce... It's a big dog. Perhaps you should have changed it to some other design, like, say... Like a dragon. There's no switching. You're sick as you got so many things. Do you want a battle royale? See if you'll win some more. The buyer's remorse must be unbearable. There's no buyer's remorse. Lift your chin. You really think they'll feel bad for me because of some cuts and scrapes? You're not good at listening to instructions, are you? The prosecution has to get 12 strangers to agree that you killed 5 men. Each charge has to be unanimous, a perfect score. So any chip damage we can do, any doubt we can sow, we take it. And any advantage we're given, we make full use of it. But the advantage you're talking about is my face. Are you really not used to getting this kind of attention, Sosuke? Look, it may be true that at times some women have expressed, and men, no doubt. Sarah. all I'm saying is that there's a difference between knowing your strengths and powdering up like this. Pretend it's war paint. Is that how you see it? No, but I'm a grown-up. Ziwa, congrats! Good job on your win. Oh, Sarah. Sarah's not sexist. You know, I know it's a camera above here, but it looks like there's a big halo above Sarah's head, and I love it. Thank you for entertaining my questions last night, Sosuke. Oh, did she ask you about your dimensions? The subject might have come up. She's a talkative one, isn't she? Sorry if she kept you up all night. No, she's no trouble, just curious. Reminds me of... We discussed history. Oh, well, she must put you right to sleep. Adonai, it was his choice of subject. Oh, so you read history, Sosuke. Here, I assumed you spent all your free time frowning in the corners of rooms with your arms crossed. We talked about the Roman Empire for your information. And criminal empires. Nothing too detailed, I hope. But Sosuke, I still don't understand. What did you mean when you said criminal organizations used to be structured differently? Only that the old ways don't fit in with our new 21st century world. Old ways? Old ways? Well, Oh, okay, we're going right into it. He's talking about race, Sarah. Race? I don't understand. Well, that's to be expected. After all, you share 98% of your components with a washing machine. That is an untrue and unflattering comparison. I do not look like Dishy from Date Everything. Maybe you do get it. Look, Sarah. Names like Mafia, Gokudo, Sanhihue, they all came from different cultures, but they all kind of referred to a kind of path. Wait, Morgan? Oh, you mean Sosuke? I think we're just covering it up. I was like, wait. Because we're just, oh yeah, this is after Sarah's medical attention, because, when we left with London, Sarah was told to give him medical attention and bandage him up everywhere. An outsider's path and the pride that comes with living by your own set of rules. Those were the first criminal organizations. Underground guilds, lending systems, militia, secret societies. Oh sure, they're basically just big friendly charities. And then the world got smaller, and people started moving around, and the mafia changed. It became a way for immigrants to band together, to have some kind of power in places that wouldn't give them a chance at anything remotely respectable. But the world kept getting smaller and more complex, and eventually, that kind of community couldn't form, let alone survive. Why? Not enough shared experiences. Shared experiences. I see. Fancy way of saying the internet came along. Well, yes. Technology negates the physical distance between people. When you spend most of your life online, you end up with more in common with people on the other side of the planet than your own neighbors. Just because of where your recommendations take you. So, the immigrant experience disappeared. Fractured, more like. Cracked into a million shards with a hammer. While generational or economic experiences got cemented. The world is more diverse and varied than it's ever been in every sense. Except economically. That also feels really true. Wealth inequality is at historical highs. As it has been every year since before I was born. To answer your question, Sarah, that's what binds the members of criminal organization to one another. Their socioeconomic status. House Ikaria is at the top. The Blue Bloods lie below us. Within each organization, wealth is concentrated among the leadership, of course, but each mafia exists in entirely different strata. I see. I have also read about an organization called the Rust being active here in the city. Are they in the poverty class then? I don't know why that felt rude. The Rust? I put them in the anarchy class. Glowing tattoos, spiked hair, chrome biceps, and sharpened teeth. The Blue Bloods, for all their faults, can put on a tie and go to work. But I can't see the Rust experiencing any kind of social mobility. Careful, Sosuke. If the Rust heard you being that classist. The Rust wouldn't care about anything I said or who I stand with. They don't need an excuse to start ripping open modders and grabbing whatever they can. Things like that happen in this city. Only in the shadows, Sarah. Nowhere you'd ever find yourself. Yeah, so stay in school, Sarah, and bartending. Finally run out of steam? On to the grim business, then. How'd things go with your investigation? That bad, was it? Nonsense. It was terrible. With what I've seen so far, there was no one else who could have killed Chopin. Even if I managed to pick apart all the evidence for the pod's deaths. I got a police officer who will swear on the stand that he arrested Sosuke standing over his partner's dead body. What's it going to look like in there? You've never been inside a courtroom? Never as a defendant. I'm just wondering how many cops I should expect. In the gallery? A sea of blue. Cheap intimidation tactics. Yeah, but I can't fault him for that. We'd let much the same for one of ours. You say that, and yet I don't see any other Ikaria around. This is a completely different scenario. And the house can't afford to appear beside a cop killer when they're being audited by the state. How understanding of you. Thought I hit notifications off, but I guess I didn't. There we go. Adonai. I think Sosuke is sad that his friends haven't showed up. Good catch. You were hired by Makoto of House Ikaria, weren't you, Adonai? Surely he would want to be in attendance. Don't be absurd. Makoto shouldn't be transported anywhere without a full security team. Besides which, he shouldn't be put through a long elevator ride to 40th floor just for my sake. Imagine Makoto walks up with like a hat and sunglasses on, trying to like disguise himself with a big sign that says, Go Sosuke! Believe in you! What's so bad about the elevator ride? Is he claustrophobic? No, that is, yes, but you cannot tell anyone, understand? Who the hell would I tell that to? Right. Look, it's illegal to stream trial proceedings under most circumstances, but I'm sure House Ikaria doesn't mind paying a fine. They'll be watching from somewhere in the court. That would be a waste of the house's coin. But I suppose they might consider keeping an eye on the case's progression. As will the Blue Bloods, no doubt. Adonai. I think Sosuke's spirits have rallied. Really? How can you tell? Right, late. Emma! Hey! Hey, girl, hey. He lifted his gaze and his eyes seemed brighter, as if... Good. Now try and keep his spirits high. How do I do that? Think of something fun. Right. Sosuke, shall we arm wrestle? Oh. Good morning, Morgan. Good morning, Emma. You seem tired. Want to push us off till next week? Actually, that sounds... Hey. Sorry. But we'll be facing off soon enough. Why not savor the playfulness while we still can? Fair enough. Losing sleep over the case? No, not really, no. Things look pretty cut and dry to me. What about you? You toss and turn all night before your big debut as a mob lawyer? Not at all, eh? Oh, we did have a nightmare. I slept like a rock. Lucky. I mean, I've been getting good rest, more or less. Just been having a lot of late nights recently. Late nights? Like going out? With who? No. Oh. Just late night chats. Morgan, oh, with who? Chatting about what? God. Look at all of them. Never seen so many cops in one building. They'd bring a marching band into the courtroom if they could. Theater. Right. Well, theater and trial weren't all that far apart back in ancient Greece. What hope we've progressed since then. You don't approve of the show of force, I take it? Isn't that obvious? I'd like to say this is because of who Chopin's family is, but we both know that's not really what this is about. A cop is dead. The state wants to make it clear that that isn't tolerated. Cops volunteer to defend our laws and protect us citizens. Volunteers don't get paid. Besides cops, courts, the state, all they can do is enforce the laws, not defend them. Guns and arms can't defend against corrosion anyway. Rot comes from the deep. Ah, so you'd rather the death of a police officer get the same treatment as any other citizen? Suppose that's not possible. Emma dodged that bullet question like a bullet hell game, right? They get increasingly fewer chances to play the victim every year, and they never let the opportunity pass. No, I guess the best I could hope for is that the state makes the same show of force whenever any crime is committed. If they treated every death like the death of a cop, maybe I could have caught HBK by now. Oh, you're still on that. Of course. Shooting deaths are down, but do you know how many missing person cases are in the city? How many deaths get written up as mod harvesting attacks gone wrong? It's a big city, Morgan. More than enough blood running through the streets for HBK to launder their kills in. You shouldn't joke like that. What, you don't believe me? Just last month, missing person. The report was filed by their employer when they didn't show up to work, 7 days after they had last been seen by anyone. They were just some part-time worker. No friends, no family. They went to work, they came home, paid their bills, and they disappeared. And no one cared or even noticed until their job didn't get done and those bills went unpaid. No one knows until they stop buying in. The body was found a full 2 weeks later. The decay was... what happened to them? Blunt force to the back of the head. Something metallic with a sharp corner, we think. Ah, it was a roughly cubed machine part I pulled from a dumpster nearby. It fit snugly in my hand, and it caved through his skull like a shovel through snow. Kicked into the bay. Might not even have been weighed down. Just thrown away like a cheap... That's terrible. Did you find any belongings on them? No. So, probably a mugging then, right? No. There would have been other injuries from a struggle. And a thief who actually committed murder would be too panicked and too terrified to... Oh, you know how muggers think now, huh? I can learn how anyone thinks. Even HBK with a robust enough profile. Well, good luck building it all by your lonesome. I'm not working this by myself. Huh? Ah, sorry, right. Is it not? Oh, is my camera blinking on and off? Did you want to beg for mercy real quick before we begin? Now where'd be the fun in that? Trial time, trial time. The camera's blinking in time with the clock, so it was funny. Oh, no. Alright. Courtroom, courtroom. The courtroom gallery is quite full today, isn't it? Awash a sea of pissed off cops. It doesn't exactly sharp confidence, does it? 5 counts of murder would be a newsworthy any day of the week. Add in the fact that one of the bodies belongs to a cop and the crowd is to be expected. Getting minor stutters again now? Time to shoot cars in Emma's face. Let me see. Is everything... Let me see if this helps if I turn this. Want that. 2086. Yeah, 2086 is late. Okay. There we go. Hopefully maybe that helps. Didn't think they'd be so quiet though. Maybe they're just waiting for the firing pistol before they start casting their stones. Don't let it get to you, Sosuke. They're just posturing. Posturing? I understand. I've been in attendance for my share of these tense negotiations. But the bloodlust in those rooms is always mutual. 26 is when you bought your first flying car. I'm used to summoning my temper on command. I might have forgotten how to get angry for my own sake. You just worry about the jury. What about the adjutant? They cannot be intimidated by muscle, bribed with cash, or disarmed with fine tailoring. All of which makes them quite favored when it comes to prosecuting organized crime. Have you been in court many times before then? It's an eye for an eye in the world we operate in. We don't file assault charges, we just answer them. Even though that has become rare, the house is elevated. Blue bloods and Russ and all the rest of the rabble. We're beyond their reach now. And when it comes to our peers, we communicate very differently. I must think being a bodyguard pretty boring. I think your work sounds very rewarding and exciting, Sosuke. Thank you. Especially the other day when you were captured and beaten by your rivals. Yeah. What I was trying to hit at, Morgan, is that you should not be expecting assistance from the house. Honestly, the thought hadn't crossed my mind. Being on the winning side for once? What the hell would that even feel like? So, there won't be any men in black approaching the jury during lunch and offering them paper bags of cash. No, Sarah, no. No. Well, it would do really bad if you won't make it to lunch, so... Sosuke, what are you staring at? Are you looking for the jury? No, I know they aren't here. It used to be mandated that juries be physically present for court proceedings. People felt it was important that they look the accused in the eye to help them evaluate their character. Why bother? Most people suck at that. Always have. True. Perhaps it was considered part of the punishment then. To have to look them in their eyes. A punishment for the jury or the defendant. Alright, kiddos. Chins up, shoulders out. Show's about to start. Ah, I just remembered. Do you think the adjutant assigned this particular case? Obviously, it's gonna be me. Obviously. I meant that's a gimme. Easy. Morgan's so mad. Morgan's so mad. How? It's 80. What are the chances? September 2nd. Tall. 299 kilograms. Likes mountain air, gymnast, and luxury. Dislikes happy couples who ask you to take their photo. Pineapple on pizza until proven guilty. Shopping carts always returned. Favorite quote: let he who's not sin play first or draw first. Addie. It's 80. What are the chances? There should be at least 83 other personalities in the building's network, at least. Well, Your Honor, thank you for presiding so honorably. I do try. Morgan really loves. Totally. Try. 'Cause it's a try. Oh. Ooh, tougher crowd than usual. And that's not counting all the grim modelists standing tall out there in the gallery. Who died? 5 people, Your Honor. Hold on. I love that face right there. You'll never say trial normally now again. It's a trial. Yikes. What's the damage? 2 counts of manslaughter. 2 counts of homicide in the 2nd degree. 1 count of homicide in the 1st degree. Buddy, you trying to set a gold split with all that? What's the record-setting grind set? The prosecution stands ready. So, shall we begin? Alright. Oh my god. Alright. Court is now in session. Let's crack those opening statements and get this case summarized. And Dex, save the game because somehow you're gonna mess up. Gladly, Your Honor. People of the court. Or maybe, see? Maybe this is a trial for Five Guys burgers and fries. It's like, like, hey everyone, what do you mean a trial for Five Guys? It's a trial for Five Guys burgers. Duh. People of the court, the defendant in this case is a man named Sosuke Ikariya. He was found at the scene of the crime, where 2 men were shot to death. One was stabbed in the neck, another had their skull bashed in, and a police officer was impaled through the back with a sword. Jeez. Cop killing piece of shit. Hey, how's it going? Please pardon any outbursts from the gallery that your mics may inadvertently pick up. It's 5 and below, but I sold a crown set for $6. Oh, how dare. Now I understand that the scale of violence on display here today may intimidate you. But I want to stress to all of you now that your responsibility here is neither taxing nor complex. You will hear testimony. You will be shown evidence. And all of it will point towards the truth. That the defendant is the only individual who could have possibly committed these crimes. That is a simple fact. And the only one you need to concern yourself with. Ooh, she is cold as ice. But every ice age beckons a kindling. For as ashes call to cinders, an ember forms champion. Defense is ready, Your Honor. I'm a district to cold logic, so if I follow her with the more of the same, I'll end up falling flat. This gallery will never warm up to us. But that can work to our advantage. If the jury comes to see these cops as witch hunters, eager to start a pyre. Imagine if the last chapter is Morgan defending someone that was accused of her kill. I mean, that was the demo. Wait, and that's this chapter too. Like, wait. That's been all the chapters so far. Well, I guess not. So, it was, oh my god. I mean, yeah, that was just a demo in this chapter, yeah. It's not like Masters never taught me anything. I know how to do the razzle-dazzle. My fellow citizens, you were brought here today because an act of violence took place that only can be described as... unspeakable. Unspeakable. I should know. I was there. I saw the blood on the ground. It was wild. It was wild. The bullet holes in the walls. Felt the... horror. Felt the horror that radiated in the air. And I also saw where my client was held prisoner. And I knew exactly where he must have stood because the sweat and blood had stained the tile. My client, a decorated veteran. Oh, Morgan, pulling that card. The man you see standing next to me here, not even fully healed from his... torture. From his torture, was taken into police custody with lacerations, bruises, internal bleeding, and broken bones. And while he was in police custody, he somehow sustained a black eye, a busted lip, a broken nose, and a boxed ear. A puzzle, which I'm sure any one of the officers in the gallery today would be happy to testify about. You gonna let her say that? You want me to object during an opening statement? Much is resting on the outcome of this trial. 5 men lie dead in the morgue. One of them a police officer, Tariq. Don't speak his name, you mob lawyer bitch! Hang him up! Hang her too! This is... Hey, we'll like have fun in this courtroom, put on a good show, but that's because we're on the stage. Any more outbursts in the gallery, and I'll clear the entire room. You can all watch the rest on your phones or peek into the keyhole like a bunch of sweaty-looking loos. We really need sympathy points. We are. I wish we had like a little bar showing us how much sympathy that the jury has for us. Counselor, let's wrap this up. Yes, Your Honor. The fact of the matter is, on that night, my client was not in the condition to kill anyone. Not for hardened criminals and certainly not a trained police officer. And nothing about my client's background, his associations, or that of the victims can change that fact. So as I listen to all the evidence on this trial, with fairness and impartiality, as I know you will strive to, I only ask that you focus on the reality of this homicide, this horrible crime, and not on the fiction that the people will try to weave for you. Thank you. Decorated veteran? You telling me you never earned a single commendation? Most push-ups of the day or something? Never mind. I suppose I could have gone much worse. You're too kind. I was trying to be honest. The crowd got agitated, but you maintained a level head and recovered your tempo. Adonai is a master at doing so. I've seen her make comebacks for the most nonsensical mistakes before. Wow. Wow. Sarah would roast me way too much. I would die. In martial arts, they call it anukemi, a graceful fall. Sure, that's basically correct. Well, try to aggressively fall over when you see the first witness on the docket, Sosuke. What do you mean by that? Your name and occupation for the record. Oh! Oh, okay. Sure. How can this... No. Crap. Voice. Makoto was like, bratty child. How can this be necessary? If some blathering idiot in that courtroom doesn't already know who I am, they don't deserve... I know. Would you consider it, if only for the sake of the ceremony? Ceremony? Is it important? And it is important and should be respected. Very well. I am Makoto Ikaria of House Ikaria. My occupation is that of a student. Trying to look so smug when you so blatantly lie. Right, of course. And your position with the Ikaria Financial Group. Alright, good night, Raphael. Bye. Is not salaried. Must I really declare it here? Hard to imagine why the noble house Ikaria is getting audited. Sosuke, are you alright? He can see us? He can see me, Rockford, and the adjutant. Witnesses teletestifying don't really need much else. So he's safe. Yes, Sosuke, he's safe. Like he was yesterday. Probably sitting right where I left him or standing up on a box. I think the hologram's giving him a boost so he can see over the stand. That's good. The boost to his height. That he's safe at home. I'm sorry that he can't see you, Sosuke. Don't be. After how horribly I failed him, I'd like you to speak a bit about the events of August 13th. About the last time you saw the defendant, Sosuke Ikaria. I'm here today. Not physically, but here nonetheless as a courtesy. That does not mean I will flap my gums like some sort of flapping gum puppet. Permission to treat the witness as hostile incoming. Emma Rockford raking a spoiled brat over the coals. This will almost be worth the price of admission alone. I understand. It was a traumatic experience, I'm sure. Anyone of normal upbringing would be able to recall a single detail, let alone a day of full events. Normal upbringing? I should probably dismiss you so you can get back to your summer studies. Summer studies? Like some sort of common waif? Waif? That's quite a vocab pool. I didn't know they taught that in State Basic. Basic? Was I mistaken? Listen well, Madam Rockford, as I demonstrate to you exactly how misguided you are about my powers of retention. Please do. Wow, that was so easy. Play like a damn fiddle. Why wasn't she mentioned during any of our trial preparations? Let's see. Oh! Birthday in exactly 1 month. Hell yeah, Emma. O positive. Our museum, turn-based RPGs, amethyst, likes volumes, clicks. Exercises by subject conditions, like, nah. Like psychology. Flower in the mirror, moon on the water. Adonai has only won against her once. So far, every hot streak starts somewhere. Hot streak? Oh god, I really am going to prison, aren't I? Where shall I start? As far back as you can. Emma's a diva, you low-key love her, as we all should. A simple task. For the past year, members of the organization most commonly referred to as the Blue Blood Mafia have been making attempts on my life. Did you steal their lunch money or something? I am the primary beneficiary of my grandfather Daisuke Ikaria's will. In common parlance, I am the sole heir to the Ikaria Financial Group. You could buy so much lunch. The group you know as the Blue Bloods have been jealous of my family's financial foresight for decades. I am merely the most recent target of their impotent attempts to nip at our heels. And 2 days ago, on August 13th, how impotent was their attempt then? I was leaving a meeting held at the upper floors of the crane tower. My security detail escorted me to the elevators, where we would then proceed down to their canopy access floors. This is all planned out in advance by the head of my security, Sosuke Ikaria. But the elevator became stuck with unnatural timing. When Sosuke pried the doors open, we saw that we were stuck between the 62nd and 61st floors. Pried open with a tool. Leading the witness, Your Honor? Oh God, no, our witness is dumb as hell. No, Makoto, no. Don't tell that Sosuke is strong and determined. He didn't need a tool to open the doors. His bare hands were more than sufficient. Help Sosuke out here, kid. I submit to evidence the defendant's Akira Type 2 military-grade spinal mod, designed to enhance strength, endurance, and reflexes for high-intensity combat scenarios. Yes, sir. It is so admitted. Makoto, what are you doing? What happened next? The decision was made that we would crawl out into the 61st floor and head for the service elevators. But once Sosuke and I exited, the elevator started up. It was a trap. We've been cut off from the rest of my detail. You were isolated and defenseless. That must have been... Huh! Hardly defenseless. Oh God. You really think my personnel head of security wouldn't be armed? He had Yoru. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. You named your sword? All great swords have names. Thank you, Sarah. Very well put. Let the record show the witness has identified Exhibit B3 as belonging to the defendant. This sword was recovered by the police in a known blue blood den in the lower wards, found impaled into the body of Tariq Chopin, and forensics has shown that the only fingerprints on it are those of the defendant. There's still time for you to disown it, Sosuke. You understand nothing about a swordsman's heart, Adonai. Once again, it is your paralegal's the right of it. Perhaps she should be leading my defense. If this somehow turns into a fencing competition, I'll gladly defer to you two. So, you and Sosuke and Yoru were on the 61st floor together. What happened next? When we arrived at the service elevators, Sosuke called them and they made a chime. And I didn't clearly see much of what happened next, to tell the truth. Figures emerged from around the corners. They were aiming weapons at me. A red dot shone on my chest. And then Sosuke was there and a needle was sticking out of his arm. Yoru glinted. Sosuke had drawn it in the blink of an eye. Something glanced off it and dropped to the floor. I saw a syringe at my feet. Yoru's sheet was thrust into my arms, pushing me back into the elevator. I landed on my rear. That's clearly a key piece of testimony. Let's play it back 5 times. No, AD, no. What matters is he pushed me back into the elevator with Yoru's sheath. How I landed is irrelevant and should be stricken from all public records. The only other thing I saw was Sosuke's back. He slammed his hand against the elevator's control panel and shut the doors. That's the last time you saw the defendant. Their decision was made that I should get a VTOL as soon as possible, but much of my details stayed behind to assess what had happened. Yeah, they were very helpful to building security for recovering Exhibit 5-C, this hypodermic needle gun. What kind of bonehead would leave evidence behind like that? A bonehead in a rush, perhaps, Your Honor. It does appear to have exhausted its gas canister, so it may have outlived its usefulness. I take it that this weapon is a match to the projectile needles found in the room my client was restrained. Correct. Others exactly like them were recovered from the scene of the ambush as well. Makoto, did you see the faces of the men who attacked you? All too clearly. I can tell you every detail of their roughshod countenances. Ah, that sounds like a good bit of testimony. Hit it. What? A pineapple head-like man in a raincoat-clad hooligan came to me first. They aimed at me, but Sosuke got between us and blocked every shot. With Yoru, he could have closed the distance, but then a dark-eyed scoundrel approached from the right. What? And a man with a ridiculous pompadour took advantage of the distraction. I'll never forget the faces of those cowards. They tried to kill me. So whatever happened to them afterwards, I'm sure they deserved it. No, don't say that. Okay. Okay. Pineapple man. Oh, Oops. Okay, hold on. I didn't read fast enough. I did not seem fast enough. Will the court allow it? Perhaps. But I certainly won't eat this penalty. It's just one. Be fine. I'll be fine. Let me save the game again real fast, though. God damn it. And let the sugar revitalize your brain. Tough love. Let me read it. Okay. Blocked every shot. Oh, he didn't block every shot. He got shot. Wanna bet? Oh, never mind. That was wrong too. That was also wrong. My bad. I was top tier lure trust. Okay. It goes to get blood. Okay. Dark-eyed scoundrel appeared from the right. Okay. I am... Okay. It's okay. Maybe at this point I reload that one. Maybe. There we go. I got it. Okay. Alright, pineapple head man. Raincoat cloud hooligan came at us first. Fine, let that go through. They aimed at me, but Sosuke got between us and blocked every shot. Sure. I guess. With Yoru, he could have closed the distance, but then a dark-eyed scoundrel approached from the right. Sure. And a man with a ridiculous pompadour took advantage of that distraction. Okay. Never forget the faces of those cowards. They tried to kill me. So whatever happened to them afterwards, I'm sure they deserved it. Back to the description in order to get this ball rolling. Oh, pineapple hair man? Guess like it depends on it because it does. And a raincoat. Right-handed prints on the Okay, I think it's the right-handed prints, right? It has to be the right-handed prints that we're talking about, but I did that already. They aimed at me. Remember I did the needles on that one last time. Did I do the needles on that last time? No, I did that already. My bad. Great. Judge person, I can't read as fast as you can think. Wow, this is question 1. Imagine if I did the whole like, oh, you can't make one mistake. I would be starting this entire thing over again. Okay. Pineapple head man, raincoat clad hooligan came first. Okay. The aim of Sosuke got between us and blocked every shot. I think I just gotta keep clicking everything now because I'm not quite sure what I'm getting wrong. Here. Okay. Okay, so that entire statement, I've done both things. Okay. Okay, not that one. The man with the Dickus Pompadour took advantage of that distraction. No. Your Honor. Your Honor. Process elimination gameplay. Oh my god. Why can't I figure out what's wrong here? Okay. Okay. Man's advantage distraction. They tried to kill you. Oh no! I found it! They weren't trying to kill him. It was the needles. They were trying to take you alive. Oh my god. How did I forget that? Okay. No, I gotta redo that. I gotta redo that. I gotta redo that. I gotta redo that. Please let me redo that. That's right. That's right. Okay. 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 I need all those coins back. I need all those coins back. Minus the first one. It's okay. I'll take one hit because I deserve at least one hit for that. Okay. You know what? I was just refreshing. We were just refreshing, everyone. Like, I need my money back. I'll never forget the faces of those cowards. They tried to kill me. They did not try to kill you, Makoto. They were trying to kidnap you. Yeah. They could have been trying to kill the witness, not with non-lethal projectiles. And they fired a lot of them. The witness doesn't weigh that much. Don't try it. The attack was clearly planned with the intent of capturing Makoto alive. Thank you for the money. Meaning what? The 4 of these case victims were actually soft-hearted pacifists? There's nothing soft-hearted about what they did to my client after capturing him. Using tools they clearly originally planned to use on the witness. So they're sadists. I'm getting confused here. So is the defense, Your Honor. What matters is the witness has identified the defense captors as the 4 blue blood victims that he's accused of murdering. Makoto did establish that much, but something about this attack still bothers me. So it bothers me enough to save scum right here because I'm just scared every time Morgan has a question. Emma put Makoto on the stand specifically to identify the victims. Is it possible the men who attacked them weren't Creek's pod? Is it? Raise. The witnesses' descriptions are vague. How do we know the attackers were the same 4 victims that ended up in the lower wards many hours later? Oh god, Makoto. We know because I say so. And it's obvious. And they are. Eloquently put. Hardly, but what else is there to say? See what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Oh, okay, stay, I guess. I don't disagree, Your Honor. The men who attacked us Makoto and took Sosuke captive are the same ones who ended up dead that night. But 2 questions do occur to me. Why were you safe in that service elevator if Sosuke surely collapsed the very moment it shut? Wouldn't those men have pursued you by any means necessary? That is... I can answer that, Your Honor. When the police inspected the scene, they found the control panel for calling that elevator on the 61st floor was broken. Smashed, in fact. The attackers would have had to manually pry open the doors in an attempt to chase after Makoto. And that would take remarkable modest strength. Did you mash the button that forcefully, Sosuke? I may have used more force than necessary. I wasn't exactly trying to hold myself back at the time. He hit the controls hard enough to break them? So the Blue Bloods couldn't pursue you further, and instead elected to take Sosuke captive. A Sosuke in the hand is better than a Makoto in the bush. The head of Makoto's security would surely have made for an invaluable source of information for planning future attacks. Were he made to talk? Are you denying that? No, but I would like to ask the witness one other question. Why did you get off the elevator in the first place? What are you... Hey! What I mentioned in the lobby earlier, that's... The mics might not be picking up for you, but from where I'm standing, I can help overhear my client groaning about how badly he failed you. That is not evidence or testimony, and so should be stricken from the record. But we get the idea. So, was bailing out early the defendant's big brain idea? As the head of my personal security detail, such a decision is ultimately his to make. However, that decision may have been influenced by his knowledge of the fact that I am not especially comfortable in enclosed spaces. What the hell are you doing, trying to humiliate him? In part. I'm also trying to insult you. Had we simply waited, we would have remained safe, but I was not comfortable and I felt very warm, and so it was not a tactical failure on Associate's part, per se. Just an error of judgment. Huh? Counselor Morgan? What's up? You can disconnect the call if... Ask me another question. Ask me about how bravely Sosuke defended me. Huh? So that's your angle. We can't all be as naturally gifted at extracting valuable testimony as both Brass as Emma. But I can follow her example. Insult their pride, and these Ikaria snap back, as reliable as any knee-jerk reaction. And in Makoto's case, with infinitely less resistance than if I had simply asked him to testify. It's usually the lawyers who do the asking and the witnesses who do the answering. This is not very realistic. We ask the witness testify for the court in more detail about exactly how valiantly Sosuke fought off the attackers. And I guess the people don't object, even though it seems super extra. No, the people don't object, Your Honor. We're gonna gaslight and insult you as we're doing. Emma's playing passively. Either I'm onto something here or I'm walking into a trap. Screw it. I'll lean on the former. Oh god, okay. Needle guns. Saving game, saving game, saving game, saving game, saving game. Save, yes. Nobody's just trial unembarrassed. Sosuke medical records. Needles. Sosuke was outnumbered from the beginning and protecting me the whole time. Okay. It didn't matter that we were ambushed or that the blue bloods had projectiles. Sosuke took Yoru in both hands and swatted the needles of the air like a graceful swatter. Wait, he's right-handed. Or left-handed. Okay, let's just say... Left hand broken. Left hand broken. Wanna bet? Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, okay, okay. It's fine, it's fine. Okay. Okay, and swatted the needles out of the air like a graceful swatter. He fought off 4 attackers without sustaining a single injury. Wait, no, but he broke his arm. Okay. Not a failure, but generation's word. Okay, okay. Broke his arm, so let's load that back up. Single injury. He has a single injury. He has a single injury. Alright, okay, nope. He... Injured. One of it. Yeah. Stop talking so fast, damn. Unscathed is the last thing anyone called my client after the events of that day. One look at his medical data from when he was arrested will tell you that much. What are you getting at, counselor? The defendant's injuries were sustained at the Blue Blend's Dun, not the Crane Tower. The police didn't even find one drop of blood anywhere near that service elevator. Well, that is a miracle. A bloodless ambush. But the fact that there was no blood and was found makes it all more painfully obvious what actually happened to that elevator panel. The elevator panel. Ugh! My client broke half the bones in his left hand, smashing it up. Did you really? I might have. There was a lot of adrenaline at the time. Did you not form a proper fist? Was your wrist not in alignment with your forearm? As I said, Sarah, there was a lot of adrenaline. Do you deny that his medical record clearly shows his left hand was broken? Oh my god, game, let me save, please. Please, I beg you. Okay. Your Honor, what does it matter the defendant broke his left hand closing that elevator? It changes nothing about the witness's testimony. No, let's raise here. Of course it does. How so? Never mind. Never mind. Oh my god. Okay, I guess I'll never raise ever. Okay, stay. True. Sosuke's hand getting injured doesn't change what we learned from this witness. But it does change the evidence you had him identify for the court. The katana. Yaru. Yoru. Its name is Yoru. We get it. Do you have a point to make, counselor? There's something odd about the katana that's been entered into evidence. Something that makes no sense given what we learned of this ambush. Namely, the swords. Prints? Blood chipping. Namely, the fingerprints that were found on the sword's handle. Fingerprints belonging to Sosuke's right hand. You're contradicting yourself, counselor. We've already discussed how it was your client's left hand that broke the elevator. That he broke closing off the elevator. There's nothing contradictory about him using his right arm to wield the blade. It can be like this because Sosuke has 2 hands. The people are correct. The sword found at the scene of the crime was my client's right hand fingerprints on his handle. Despite the fact this witness just testified that Sosuke was swinging it with both hands. Like a graceful swatter specifically. Oh yeah, he did say that. So, did little Tyke misremember? It was a chaotic situation when he feared for his life. The court should hardly expect him to have kept track of such an inconsequential detail. Have you already forgotten my magnanimous powers of recollection? Her tactics from earlier backfired. I'll have you know, I can recite all my subordinates' birthdays down to the hour. That's actually really talented. Write them all down so I can calculate their moon signs later. It doesn't matter whether the witness is mistaken about Sosuke's grip, Your Honor, because we have a much bigger issue to address. Why the sword has only my client's fingerprints on it. Makoto testifies that Sosuke wielded this katana in his defense. An act of bravery that ended with my client face down on the floor of the crane tower. He later woke up, held captive in the lower wards. I'll state the obvious here and say, while he was unconscious, he was moved. And so, the sword we have in record must have also been handled by Creek. Oh no, I was minimum. I should have maxed out my bet there. Oh well, it's okay, it's okay. The poor victim, Creek, of course. What do you mean? Sosuke was knocked unconscious at Crane Tower. That means someone else must have brought his sword down to the lower wards. And the only people who had the opportunity to do so would have been his captors. You mean his victims? Withdrawn. The defense is forgetting a very simple fact, Your Honor. There's more than one way to hold a sword. Oh, worm? In case the defense needs it clarified. But... Why would you hold the sword by the pointy part? Creek could have simply held the sword by its scabbard. Or there. Raise. No. Then his prints would be on there too. Not possible, Your Honor. Makoto's already testified that Sosuke left the sword scabbard with him when he thrust it back into the elevator. Oh yeah. I see. And since a cursed sword can't be resheathed until it's tasted blood? Yes, Your Honor, very well said. We would have found the scabbard at the Blue Blood's den if Creek or his men had taken it with them. Instead, I imagine Makoto took it home. You think he took key evidence from his own assault and kept it from the police? Of course I did! Makoto. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just this. I guess I'm not Makoto's lawyer, right? As if I would trust officers of the law to properly handle a family heirloom as precious as Yoru's sheath. Impressive insight, Adonai. But what does this actually mean? Is there some mistake with how the evidence was handled? He's a young man. There's no mistakes here. This was all done with intention. The intention to frame my client. By putting his fingerprints on that sword after the real culprit had already handled it. What a load of bullshit. And the crowd goes wild. Though it does make a certain kind of sense. Because it's the truth, I did wipe the katana's handle down, removing it from Trey's throat. Sosuke just happened to be foolish enough to pick it up himself afterwards. It's frustrating having to keep all my best cards up my sleeve at this time around. But the look on Emma's face when I do get to toss them out is... Crowd, can you not? The people are more than ready to counter. Sorry, music. I was like, boss music just starts up like, oh, okay. Well, I'm scared. Saving that. Oh. The defense has made an admirable effort to barrel ahead with this theory. Admirable but predictable. With the foundation this week charging ahead and hoping the court will notice it's the only option. Let us speak of the facts. This Creek character led a targeted ambush on the heir of House Ikuria, knowing he'd be guarded by a full security team. The Blue Bloods successfully sabotaged and intercepted Makoto's elevator at the precise floor they wanted, meaning they knew exactly where he'd be and when. And they brought with them drugs capable of disabling a veteran at military-grade mods. Planning and attention to detail may be foreign concepts to the defense, but they should at least be able to recognize them. So, is the defense seriously suggesting after all the preparation, Creek's pod wouldn't bother to wear gloves? I'm glad you asked so nicely. Creek's fingerprints. Okay. Let me up my thing. Alright. Yoink. We don't need to speculate about whether they were gloves or not. Not when we have Creek's fingerprints on a weapon recovered from the crime scene. Max bet! Heck yeah! Money, wooly. That is... a pretty good point, actually. Guess the guys are sloppier than we thought. Those blackguards are bare-faced when they attacked us. Idiots. As if there wouldn't be repercussions for their actions. Shh, Makoto, shut up. As if there wouldn't be repercussions for their actions. At least they could have done is disguise themselves. Strike that from the record, Your Honor. Along with any future comments that suggest that Ikuria would want revenge against these victims. I was only speaking the plain truth. Oh my god. But the child. Can we turn off this child's hologram, please? Creek was their leader, correct? Even if Creek wasn't wearing gloves, it's hard to imagine that none of them got their prints onto Yoru. Unless the sword was indeed wiped down at some point afterwards. Like right around the time the true culprit was looking for Sosuke to take the fall. Can we please drop the child, please? It's a spicy theory. It's just that, Your Honor, a theory. A far-fetched, unstable theory that stacks presuppositions upon each other, like a flapjack chef substituting quantity for quality. Oh, okay. I'll rephrase. This inconsistency is easily answered without jumping through the fence's absurdly arranged hoops. Is it? I thought we were doing pretty good. That's a little better. Alright. We already know the Blue Bloods has successfully taken down the Ikurea's head of security. And we already know that they went out of their way to take the defendant captive despite him not being the original target. Furthermore, as the defense has belabored, we know that they decided to take the useless piece of steel with them from the scene of the crime. Useless? If we ask why, the answer is obvious, because orcas are superstitious and immature. They want a trophy. And what is there to do with a trophy? Other than to polish it. Okay. The cloth from Creek's desk? I knew she flagged it in the arcs for some reason, but she thought this many steps ahead? Rip Matt Pat, you would have loved this game, right? The defense is correct. The sword was wiped down before Sosuke took it up as his murder weapon. By the very same victims who he'd go on to claim with it. That is... God damn it, a completely logical explanation. How do we respond to that, Adonai? We... check. Yeah, I don't have any evidence against that. We don't. I can't. It makes sense. So does that mean what she described? Does that mean that she's described what actually happened? Not at all. I wiped off the sword myself because my prints were on it. Same as I wipe my prints off every other. Right. If I can't find fault with Emma's conclusion, I need to find fault with the logic that led her there. I see. And how do you do that? By adjusting my aim. As your people say, Your Honor, no one's fingerprints but my client's are on the murder weapon. It only makes sense if he's guilty or being framed. And there's no evidence to suggest he's being framed, because his captors had valid reasons for wiping off the sword. And that's true. They did have a good reason to wipe off the sword. But that's not the murder weapon I'm referring to. The bat! The bat! Okay, max bet, max bet. And a save. And a save, just in case you're like, no, it's not the bat, you silly, silly person, Dex. God, see, I like this one, I can read. Partial prints. Only prints... Oh, wait, oh no, the Magus. Only prints are Sosuke's left hand. Yeah, that one. This gun is the murder weapon I'm referring to. Phew. Phew. I'm making my money back. I'm making the money back. What? The police are confident this Mag US is a gun that was used to kill Tanks in Creek. And your client was arrested with it on his person. And it has your client's print on it. But it was owned by Tanks. The record shows that only Sosuke's are... The record shows that Sosuke's are the only fingerprints on that doohickey. So that means this Tanks guy never laid a finger on his own gun? That was so funny. It's entirely possible that Tanks simply liked to polish his gun too. Phrasing. Yeah, it is me right there. So, he was polishing it right up until the moment his captor grabbed it and used it against him. Phrasing? Was this before or after his internal bleeding that my client took the gun off Tanks without him even laying a finger on it first? Before or after being tortured that he got the gun with no struggle. And he could have wrestled with a gun while it was out of reach. You discovered your avatar editing? Heck yeah. Tanks had no injuries besides the hole in his chest. How did he get into a struggle and not get so much of a scratch? The likelihood of that scenario. would seem to come down to the order in which each individual died, no? Yes, Your Honor. Then perhaps we had to hear some more detailed testimony about that. Of course. Oh god, we can send Makoto home. Thank god. The defense has no more questions for this witness, Your Honor. We don't object. Hold on, what are you saying? Okie dokie then, closing the connection. I said, wait, is Sosuke... Makoto seemed to be good in spirits, wouldn't you say? Yeah, he was his usual irreproachable self. So how can you find something about that to be depressed over? I am ashamed that he testified at all. His appearance here runs the risk of sullying the house's visage with my mistakes. Well, he couldn't exactly slip the subpoena by claiming he had homework to do. You, of all people, should understand that the house doesn't have to appear in court if it truly doesn't want to. We turn the child off. A fine levied on your accounts is always preferable to a smudge staining your reputation. But he did testify. Yes. And he no doubt went directly against one or more family elders to do so. He should not be incurring debts for my sake. So, he put himself at a disadvantage for you. Do you think Makoto would want you to apologize? Or do you think he'd want you to thank him? He's young. He doesn't know what he wants yet. I mean, I think we're doing good so far. Yumi! Yumi Sato, medical examiner. Yumi! Sarah and I, single brain cell there. Sarah! Oh. Wait, are they BFFs now? I love it. Dr. Sato. Alright. March 3rd, fresh metal grilled fish cardamom. Frame, split end surveys, splurges on live show tickets. Favorite color is phthaloxyanine green G. Coat is super easy to sanitize. Trans Queen's here. Yeah, she is. Save the gun with her right there. Dr. Sato, we're very grateful for your work sorting through this large number of reports related to this case. Yeah. 5 dead, 5 bodies, all high priority. Had my head underwater for a good while there. We'd prefer not to tax you with repeating every grisly detail. But if you could, would you please walk the court throughout the time of death for each victim and the manner in which they were determined? Right. From the top. Okay, what I feel like I need to take notes on this because I'm going to forget and this is going to be super important. Okay. But even though I know because I was there. Okay. Anchorton, aka Tanks, had a mishmash of street legal and chop shop mods along his forearms. None of them were particularly up to date, but they were all working, and they did monitor his heart rates. Okay. 9:44 p. 9:44 p.m. Tanks. The cause of death was... The slug had a hollow design, intended to shatter inside the target. There's no mistaking that he was killed by his own gun, the Mag US, from a distance of 1 or 2 meters. Okay. Next up is Sungmin Tre Trench. He also had relatively low-end mods installed. They show his heart stopping from 9:45 p.m. Okay, so 9:45 p.m. Tre! He died from exsanguination, blood loss, resulting from a laceration across his neck by a sharp metal blade. That wasn't the only injury his body sustained, though, was it? No, it was not. Posthumously, his skull was... Saw no evil. Jeez. Heavens Miller, Smiles, received a puncture wound straight through the jugular vein. Then the blade was withdrawn, exacerbating blood loss, and he was likely unconscious within seconds of falling to the ground. Miller had mods, but evidently gone to great lengths to remove all monitoring tech from them. Check out the word. Poor Trey. And he was not found with any electronics on his person. Using pure medical means, I narrowed down time of death between the window between 9:40 and 9:50. Okay. So then we have Miller, 9:40 to 9:50. Okay. Even though I killed him third and he was second to die. That brings us to Creek. Yes. Unlike tanks, Lakers Creek Kristoff was shot once in the hull slug from a distance of 1 to 2 meters. However, the slug penetrated just beneath their solar plexus and failed to completely shatter when it impacted a low-end spinal brace mod. As a result, Creek didn't die immediately. It's my medical opinion that Creek would have slowly bled out over the course of about 5 minutes. Their mod did not have biomonitoring capabilities. So like with Miller, I've done what I can to narrow down the time of death to a 10-minute window between 9:40 and 9:50. That 1 XP crown is just getting passed around. Okay, so we have Creek 9:40, 9:50. Okay. Gotcha. So he was barely modded? They stay conscious the whole time anyway? Well, we do have one other context clue to work with. This data pad was found very close to Creek's body, and technicians confirmed that it requires Creek's fingerprints for most functions. That means it's unlikely that anyone would have been able to manipulate it. We found the last action taken on it was an attempted dark card transaction that failed at 9:44 p.m. Imagine being alert, think of all the people you killed, right? Like Dawson's Creek. What could cause a dark card transaction to fail? Usually hit cancel or the card itself was jostled, interrupting the scan. As if the data pad was suddenly dropped. Speculation? How much qualification does one need in order to understand that card readers can be finicky, Your Honor? True enough. Chip, swipe, pin, tap. Just let me buy the damn balloon animal, you clown. So, taking the digital evidence into account, Creek must have been shot almost the exact same time as Tanks. Thank you. There's one more body you examined for this case, yes? Okay, the one we don't know too much about. Officer Tariq Chopin. I didn't need to determine his time of death. As a patrol officer, he had a standard suite of police-issued biomonitors. So we know that his heart stopped at 10:14:04 p.m. Okay, so we know down to the millisecond. Got it. So it's well after 10:14. Triggering an automatic 10:999 alert, officer down. Lighting up that crime scene like a firecracker and ensuring every cop in the city would come running, royally pissed and safety's off. Chopin was impaled through his back by a long, thin blade. It severed his aorta, and as a result, he died instantly. To summarize, then, we conclude that Tank's gun was taken from him before 9:44 p.m. He and Creek were then shot with it. Their attacker, out of ammunition, took up a sword and stabbed Miller in the throat, before slicing into Trey's neck. This individual then proceeded to posthumously crush Trey's skull by striking it so hard that they shattered a baseball bat, as Creek bled to death on the other side of the room. Finally, when Officer Chopin entered the scene, they stabbed him in the back, before finally being apprehended by Officer Rogers. That's all correct as far as we can understand it. So, now Rufford's put together a timeline. It's probably helpful for the jury putting it all in chronological order. But have we actually learned anything new about the culprit's actions? We have. Emma brought her on stand to establish the culprit's capabilities as a killer. Because dang, they fast. Which again is Morgan, so yeah, we know. Starting time. She wanted to establish the starting time of all the murders. Wasn't that pretty obvious? Well, yes, but the fact that Tanks and Creek died first, combined with the shooter stood, tells us what part of the... Oh, oops. Already messed up. Never mind. Starting position. So let's establish where in the room the killings had to have started.
Correct. Because Creek and Tanks died first, and they were both shot from within 1 to 2 meters. We know the culprit must have started taking action right by the desk.
And not by the door to the holding room.
Indeed.
So the likelihood that my client broke out from there
is not very high at all.
Check. Yes.
An abundance of DNA evidence establishes that the defendant was indeed held in the other room. But clearly he didn't remain there. His captors must have taken him out to question him in the main room, and dragged him in front of the desk where Tank's gun would be within reach.
You're the one who's reaching.
You have evidence to the contrary. A better explanation of how he got out of where he was being held.
Can't exactly propose that the real killer set him free as a scapegoat.
The forensics are clear. My client was gagged and bound in that room. Was. But they had to cut him loose to question him.
Kiana, you caught the Grievard. Wait, awesome.
A mistake that ended up costing them their lives. Do you think that's true, Sosuke?
I'm not positive, of course. But my body was telling me that I was held in that room from the time I woke up until I got myself free.
Emma's theory about Blue Bloods being dumb enough to let Sosuke near a gun is imperfect, but still a theory. And I don't have jack shit to counter with, because not even Sosuke knows how I let him out. If the defense has no objections, then they'll just have to take this L and meekly move on to their cross-examination. Adonai, they made you sound very feeble.
You got the ghost pupper, heck yeah.
You've developed a habit of only using we when I'm winning. Fix it. That made us sound very feeble?
Why do I have to get roped in?
Emma's already established a timeline and the order of events. I could pick out the details, but she's close enough to the truth already.
I should tell a lawyer take an L.
I know the truth firsthand about every death except for Chopin in this case. Emma and I are on an even footing.
So what's my advantage? The advantage we have is save scumming. We're just going back in time to ensure we win this trial.
What do I know that everyone else is mistaken about?
Creek dying out much later? Timing? Okay, never mind. The causes of death? Wow. Man, 3 guesses and I guessed them all wrong. Damn. You can't actually murder people? Guess you're taking the L in this case. Oh, murder weapons.
Right, the murder weapons. Everyone thinks Miller was stabbed in the neck by the katana.
Oh, right, the knife. I forgot about the knife.
I'm the only one who knows my knife was there. There's gotta be a way I can use information to my advantage here, without revealing that I have it or how I got it.
Whenever she's thinking and not talking out loud, her eyes are black. And whenever she's talking out loud, her eyes are red. That's the color change.
I'm walking on a razor's edge here. At least it's thematically appropriate.
Oh, knife! No!
The defense is ready to begin our cross-examination, Your Honor. Okay. Dr. Sato. You're asked to examine all 5 bodies. Did you visit the crime scene?
I did not, have not.
Photos and other ARC's data were provided to me to aid in my examination. Surely the defense isn't objecting to a little virtual work.
Of course not. After all, had anything been added or removed from the crime scenes, the ARCs would show it.
There's no fooling it once it's all been set up.
Blade wounds.
Victims Trey and Miller were both attacked with a blade. Exactly how fast did they die? Trey had his throat slashed, and the blood found on his hand suggests he had time to reach up to his neck in response. But he would have quickly stumbled back and collapsed on the floor dead. Miller wouldn't have lost so much blood at the moment his neck was punctured. For that kind of wound, the weapon acts as a stopper. Once that stopper was removed, he would have lost consciousness in mere seconds. And while the blade was still in his neck, if it was there for more than a second. He, too, would have reflexively reached up, presumably to try and grab the blade. Press! Press! But his hands were injured, right? Is there evidence he tried to grab the razor-sharp katana lodged in his neck? He had his own blood on his right hand, but there were no cuts on it. Because he grabbed the knife's handle, not a sword's edge. So it stands to reason that the blade was withdrawn very quickly. By the time his hands reached up to his neck, it must have been gone. Okay. What a very small inconsistencies with this katana theory I can shine on. Will that be enough? Oh. Stabbing Miller's neck so precisely and so fast. That'd be quite a feat of swordsmanship. Stating conclusion, Your Honor. Comments withdrawn, quick as a blade. Have you ever seen a stab wound like the one that killed Miller inflicted by a long blade? And wielded in one hand by a man experiencing heavy blood loss. No, can't say that I have. Now, whether that move is impressive or improbable, well, I'm a doctor, not a fencer. And Silsky doesn't own a rapier. Press? Did you find that the stab wound on Miller's neck fit the sword that the police recovered? Approximately. Doesn't sound conclusive. Okay. The entry wound is slightly smaller than I would expect for such a precise stab. The sword hand must have barely trembled, but it's within tolerable ranges. Furthermore, DNA on the tip of the sword is a match for Miller. Damn it! Just because I happened to drag it across where his blood had dripped. And of course, there isn't any implement at the scene that would fit the wound better. No, of course there isn't. Save here, though. Save here. Can you think of the matter of Officer Chopin's death? Well, to reiterate, his body was found with a katana struck through his back. It had punctured his heart, killing him. There was a massive blood loss to the scene. At least in part because the wound in question was agitated, I suppose I'd say. What do you mean by agitated? Honestly, as though during impalement, the blood was moved around inside the wound. As if it becomes... Okay, thank God I got it. As if it becomes stuck and someone's struggling to remove it. London mentioned that Sato found this wound odd, but to hear her specifically say the blade had become stuck. That's interesting. Thank you, Dr. Sato. I think I could speak for all of us when I say I found that very enlightening. Blackjack. Phew. I feel like it's slightly easier because I know. Because, you know, we did the crime a bit. But still scary. Dr. Sato, you just testified that Officer Chopin was impaled from behind. Did this occur from the spot where his body was found? Yes, it did. The body shows no signs of being moved. I'm curious then. What was there for the sword to get stuck on? Huh? Well, if Chopin was in the center of the room sitting upright, I mean, it could have gotten caught in the air, right? Bone, perhaps? Surely you examined the wound inside and out. Did you see marks on his ribcage where the blade had caught? No, I didn't. Then stands to reason the blade didn't get caught on anything inside Mr. Chopin. It got caught on the floor. Pardon? You need to take greater advantage of the arcs, Counselor Morgan. Learn to flip things on their head. Entire rooms if need be. If you had, you see there's a clear indentation in the floor that lines up perfectly with Mr. Chopin's wound. How do you think the tip of the sword got chipped? Emma, please. You're saying the sword got stuck on the floor. Then why didn't it get stuck in whatever face's neck? That's the facts are saying. Do you disagree? No, wait, no, but did get stuck. Yeah, no, stay, and then... I don't necessarily disagree, no. and Chopa was impaled and fell face first. It makes perfect sense for the sword to get caught in the floor as he collapsed on top of it. So, we conclude that after being impaled, Chopin fell over with the sword still in his torso. Sorry, commentary. Driving the sword into the ground. Then his attacker aggravated his wound by trying to retrieve the sword from his corpse. Does that sound right? Oh, what? Are you asking me? Sort of asking the room, I guess. Well, I believe I can answer. What you're describing makes sense, Dr. Sato, but only up until we consider again the fingerprints on the sword handle. If my client really did impale Tariq Chopin and get his sword stuck doing so, why would he try to retrieve it with only one hand? Because his hand is broken? Because he had to retrieve it with one hand. Both invested and distracted. Oh yeah, you're fine, lady, you're fine. You yourself already elucidated that the defendant's left hand was broken when you destroyed the elevator panel in the crane tower. His left hand was too damaged for him to even grip a sword. That isn't square with this piece of evidence. Oh god, his prints were on some gun. Or weapon. Which weapon? Oh, hold on. Evidence. Which one? Okay, partials. Nope. Sosuke gripped your left hand. Gun. Max bit. The Mag US? How could my client's left hand be too damaged to grip his sword, and yet also be capable of gripping the Mag US? That oddity is hardly impossible to explain. I've already determined that the Mag US was fired twice before the sword was used at all. Firing such a weapon with a broken hand surely rendered his left useless. Ugh, that's... It is difficult to wield a sword with a damaged hand, isn't it, Sosuke? You made yourself a cup of coffee, toast, and 2 pieces of Gouda cheese for dinner? Ooh, nice. But coffee for dinner? You're brave. Historically, even the loss of a pinky finger on your non-dominant hand was considered enough to render you relatively defenseless. Is that why the Yakuza would offer to cut off fingers as recompense for offenses? That's right, Sarah. In fact, shh, cut the chatter, save the history lesson. You can't even handle a sword with confident hands. A decaf? Okay. I was about to say, like, dang. Looking at the forensic pulls from the katana, that's... Your Honor, the people claimed that my client had to use one hand to retrieve this sword because his other hand was disabled. Wait, which prints are on the hand? Which prints are on the sword? Sword. Right hand. Okay. Wait. But does the evidence actually suggest that? What do you mean? Forensics performed on the katana found my client's right hand fingerprints on the handle. But what grip are the prints a match for? Let me just give a quick think here as I meticulously analyze the position of each finger. Your Shogado would have had 70 cups of coffee for dinner if you want. Well, I mean, he's built differently. Normal grip. The grip is normal. Do you mean to say that the thumb is facing towards the blade, Your Honor? Well, yeah, but isn't it easier to say like he held it like normal? If my client only held the sword with his right hand normally, Your Honor, that would mean he held the handle like that even as he tried to jostle the blade free from the floor he was impaled on. Which is far from impossible. But if, Your Honor, the court has questions about exactly how the defendant was positioned when he was found standing above Officer Chopin's corpse. Locked room katana mystery. I believe the people's next witness will be able to answer them all. Oh, thank God. Okay. Maybe some black tea. Ooh, nice, nice. Like only me, it's finally time to face off with the arresting officer. What? My suspect number 1? So excited. Let's do it. Chobin's partner. Very well. Let us summon a stand. No, name not found. What? What? Is that a family or given name? Sarah. Even Emma. What? Yeah, got a big ol' error right there, and it's a classic. Is there a wax figurine at the crime scene? Witness not found, literally. He ain't here. What? He had hours to get here. What the hell could he possibly be? Her star witness is a no-show? Everyone's Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. Is this good news or bad news? Like hitting the jackpot in the world's sketchiest slot machine. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Makoto, you didn't do anything, right? Or pretty lady who they forgot already? Me starts with an M. What was her name? Mirai? You didn't, right? You didn't get rid of a cop. Because that's gonna look real bad. That's gonna look real bad. Nice to meet you, Mr. Name Not Found. Feels good, but you get the feeling the staff is gonna make you pay for it. That idiotic. Pay for it when? Fine. I'll do it myself. Right about now. Hey. And boss music starts up again. Okay. Okay. Yoink. Yoink. Scaring me. We can save the court trouble by wrapping up things here and now. The facts are simple, and the defense has failed to refute them. Thus, the people call for summary judgments. Already? The defendant is the only one with the prints on the gun. He's the only one with the prints on the katana. His own employer testified to this in court that he was attacked and captured by 4 of the 5 victims. He was found and arrested standing over the body of a dead cop, before 2 more officers arrived and secured the scene. Must be Race in London she's referring to. As the only living person left at the scene of the crime, there was no one else who committed these murders. She's on tear, and I'd be lying if I said it was entertaining. It's only because she's on tilt. She was thrown off by her witness flaking, and it caused her to overstep. She's fired off a lot of claims in quick succession, but which is the weakest one? Fuck if I know. Which is definitely what you want to hear your lawyer saying. This is a bop. This is such a bop. Where do I counterattack? God, I want to hit please test me, but I feel it's not going to work. She just claimed that Sosuke is the only one who could have committed these murders. She can't possibly prove that. She can't prove that there wasn't anyone else there that night because I actually was. And unlike her, I can prove the possibility of another party being present without having to reveal their identity. The people are mistaken, Your Honor. My client wasn't the only other person there that night. Does the court have a personal DJ? Or, it's 80. 80 is just blasting it. And there's evidence to show it. Is there? Is there evidence? Okay, so we have what? The dark... Oh! The dark card! No, only to rich... Oh, maybe? Okay. Broken bat. Nope. Red ink. Classified documents hard to copy. Easy to destroy. It doesn't do anything. What's that? The dark card found lodged into Creek's datapad? That's right. The perfect payment option when neither you nor the business you frequent, like attaching names to faces.
We're a chronic gambler. We say something first, actually think about what we said later.
We already discussed that within moments of Creek's death, a transaction was being attempted on his datapad. A transaction made using the star card, but whatever for. Perhaps some of the handful of illicit substances that were found at the scene of the crime. Oh crap, yeah, almost forgot. Those guys were drug dealers.
Audience, boo them! Boo all the drug dealers! Boo!
And drug dealers get customers, Your Honor. Customers that can be very temperamental when things go south.
Who needs MasterCard when you got a dark card?
Why are we clicking? Why are we clicking? Are you trying to suggest these killings were a result of a drug deal gone wrong? I mean, yeah. A drug deal made in person at a blue blood stronghold. Dark cards require a passkey and a fingerprint. The card would be useless if its owner wasn't physically present for the transaction. A transaction that might be abruptly canceled if tensions boiled over. A potential buyer who would likely have been across the desk from Creek. The same spot in the room we established that the killer must have started their rampage. Cute idea, counselor, but there's no meat to it.
I'm also saving this picture too. I don't know if I have already, but... Tomato.
We know that Creek was using the datapad before he died. And we know the dark card was processing a transaction at the time. But for some reason he made the assumption that he was selling, when the simplest explanation is that he was buying, using the dark card that he owned. The dark card belonged to Creek? How will you respond? I don't need to respond with evidence. I just need to point out the flawed evidence she's constructed her argument upon. The flawed evidence that I absolutely, totally see. Bet. Face ID. Swipe default prints. Found on Creek's desk. Creek's drop his fingerprints. Recorded. Aborted. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Okay, let me see.
Wipe default prints. Known only to rich criminals. We don't know. Oh, it's Creek. Creek. He likes making money. Okay, so he could be rich, so that won't help us. The datapad? You really think the datapad found the scene belonged to Creek? Technicians confirmed it was key to his fingerprints, so... Yeah,
Morgan, you were looking so cool there, and I screwed that up for you. My bad. The dark card.
Characterization, Your Honor. The people are claiming that the dark card in the evidence record belonged to the victim, Creek.
I'll orpose us in a second, right? Like, again, this cool ass picture and I ruined it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Despite the fact it has no fingerprints on it either.
Never mind, I like that photo. That feels like a thumbnail for next time.
What? If that dark card had belonged to Creek, he would have had to insert it to his datapad with his teeth. Ew. So, like, who did the dark card belong to? Perhaps a customer who didn't like his prices.
Okay. Morgan, your victory music's a little loud. Give me a second.
A disgruntled customer could have wiped their prints off the card to hide the fact they were ever there. That's absurd. If a customer brought the dark card with them to the crime scene, why the hell would they take it with them when they left?
We're jazzing up in here or what, right?
It was stuck in the datapad. They could have pulled out a little harder. They could have taken the datapad with them. Who would leave behind something that valuable? The card is worthless to everyone but its owner. To whom it could be priceless. Why would they choose to leave it behind? Oh, the answer to that is simple, if I'm honest. We're discussing the possibility of a deal gone south. What could cause that in the first place? aggressive negotiating tactics. Or a customer who couldn't pay. What are you? This customer could afford a dark card. And yet they couldn't pay. Hold on. You're trying to say all these deaths, all this carnage. You think it's all because... because their card got declined? Damn. Damn. Hard to live down that kind of faux pas. Imagine. Like, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I was broke today, so I had to murder 5 people. Murdering 4 or 5 people in order to skip paying your bill is pretty aggressive, but if you need your fix. Was there any indication that contraband was taken from the scene of the crime? Your Honor, that is difficult to say. Without knowing their inventory before the crime occurred, we cannot rule out the possibility. Huh, that was a little lackluster of a pushback. Is she really that thrown off by this witness playing hooky? Well, I hate to do this because I love spending time with you all and having a physical body and being ensouled. But Dusty wants to declare a recess while we wait. Perfectly reasonable, Your Honor. That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. What? Court is now in recess. Which sounds like a good pausing point, too. Okay, so. Save the game. Save the game there. Okay. We're not doing too bad. We have 104 monies. Yay. We've... I'm not quite sure still how we're going to... Reading. Documents apparently can take confidential information of high value. Payments to support construct. Election of something councilmen long to push for. Quickly referred to as low rewards. Vote upcoming. Stress the importance of something of the highest level. Okay, okay. That's a lot of monies. Yeah. We cooked. God, Makoto. Makoto's testimony. Look at that. No. Okay, so I think next time. I don't know. Is that gonna... That can't be it. We convinced the jury that the murderer was a broke drug sociopathic drug addicted serial killer. Makoto, you talk forever. Makoto, 2/3 of this trial was you. Clearly code something sharp. Oh, we'll probably bring the fact that I couldn't be the katana for this too. Did we have scissors in the room? I don't know. Can't be that difficult. We'll have to see. Alright, so let's save the game one more time, just because I'm always paranoid about the game. And let's go back to the title screen. Alright, so we're doing a smidge bit early. Well, definitely, let's go ahead and pay out top fans. Did it finally settle? Did it settle on who gets them? Well, we're skipping Stream Elements. Stream Elements isn't getting any. That's for sure. Let's see. So we have Chaotic in 1. Let's get you 1,000. Bring you to 32,000. We'll put Lady to number 2 because we can't give Stream Elements a win. You get 500. There you are. There you go. Stream Elements was... and then that would make Karu in 3rd. Just give you 450. Nope. Karu. There you are. Yay! How evil of Stream Elements. I know, right? Thank you for the monies. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being in stream. Yippee! Yeah, so again, Friday's gonna be Danganronpa. Saturday's gonna be Mauve. I should fingers crossed I don't get called in for work on Thursday. So I can work on stuff for Stream Elements. Which is you wanna fly? Okay, I'll make you fly. So that means I'm gonna try to get London and Reyes and some fidget buddies and the Mauve characters that I've missed. And where are you? Nope, not there. There you are. Whee! There you go. Alright, so I see you all next time. Good night. Woohoo!